Hi again, everyone. Today we're going to do a rhetorical analysis, and we're using a text, which is the ad from Americans for the Arts with the bust of Homer on it, and we're going to analyze it in terms of its rhetorical principles. Specifically, we're going to look at the rhetorical situation of the ad, and we're going to talk about author, where's my mouse? Audience, pathos, text, logos, ethos, and context. So let's go over here and look at the ad. I'm going to zoom in, and it says why some people say dope when you say Homer. There's a picture of a bust. It says Homer was a man of philosophy, not all-you-can-eat buffets. Kids don't get enough art these days. For 10 simple ways to get more arts in kids' lives, visit americansforthearts.org. All right. So, rhetorical situation. What is the context of this ad? What is this ad responding to? Arts funding often gets cut when budgets are tight. So, for example, here in Illinois, with the recent problems with the state budget, when school districts are looking for what to cut, one thing that often goes is arts education. So this is the situation, the context. We might call it the exigence of the situation. Why was this ad created? Okay. So if we look at this ad, we can tell that the people who made it are interested in promoting the arts. So that brings us to audience. Who's the audience? By going down toward the ad here, we see the Americans for the Arts logo. And they are an organization, and their website says their mission is to serve, advance, and lead organizations and individuals who promote the arts in America. We also see down here the NAM Foundation, and upon looking them up, I've learned that they're a trade association for music products. They sell products for music and musicians. So now we know something about the author of the ad, and their ethos or credibility is influenced by what we know about them or by what kind of reputation they have. Americans for the Arts, they're a nonprofit organization. NAM, they are a commercial organization, but they are working to sell goods having to do with the arts. Okay, to whom is the ad targeted? Who's the audience here? Well, it's talking about kids. It's talking about philosophy. It's talking about art and education. We could make some guesses about who the audience is. I'd say parents are one of the audience members. The ad is trying to show people that the arts are good for kids, and so that's going to be directed at parents, perhaps teachers, and who value the arts, perhaps legislators or people who are working with budgets or education funding, people who want to donate money to those. That's the audience. And the pathos has to do with the emotions of the ad. So what are some emotions that get evoked from this ad? Well, there's a reference to The Simpsons. So I think there's some humor here. The ad is trying to make us kind of laugh, kind of chuckle. This looks very austere, this bust. It looks very formal and old. So a sense of respect or respect for ancient things. Those are definitely part of the pathos. And just the whole idea that kids might think not only of Homer Simpson instead of Homer, the author. So what's the message? The message obviously is that, here, kids don't get enough art these days, and we should ask for more arts for our kids so that they know more than just The Simpsons. It's an ad campaign. Arts, ask for more is their tagline. And here we've got for 10 simple ways to get more art in kids' lives. So there's a way, there's logos there. What exactly do I need to do to make this happen? The context, we've already talked a little bit about that in terms of funding for the arts, or maybe the devaluing of the arts in society. But also we can talk a little bit about limitations of the ad. What are some limitations here? Well, first of all, Americans for the Arts had to pay to run it, so they couldn't have, they were limited in terms of their space. They worked with the Ad Council, and the Ad Council has requirements for organizations and what they're going to be running. What are the conventions of the ad? How does the ad look? There's visuals. There's lots of white space where there's nothing going on except blank space. There's not very much text. We are led to draw some of our own conclusions. That's typical of an ad. There's things that are on here that are meant to catch our attention, also typical conventions of an ad. This is a rhetorical analysis of this ad. We have addressed all of the elements of the rhetorical triangle, the rhetorical model. So now what you need to do is think about the rhetorical elements of this ad for the next course activity.